Bonjour, hola, welcome to Spanish class. This is either Thursday or Friday, so happy Thursday if this is a Thursday. Happy Friday if this is a Friday. I'm actually taping this on Thursday, so an extra happy Thursday to all of y'all watching this on Thursday. So I'm going to tell you about a really cool game that we do in here, if not every week, then every other week, called the Word Chunk Team Game. Okay, it's called the Word Chunk because you are listening to words in Spanish, but you're listening to them in chunks. And as a team, you have to answer them so you can win points. And these points lead to fabulous prizes at the end of a semester or 9 weeks. And this is a game that we can do, and it's something fun at the end of the week to do after telling a story or, doing whatever, reading, whatever. So here's sort of a general setup of the game. The first thing is that you will get into a group of three people in a group. Has to be three. Has to be 3 people in a group, okay? When you get in your group of 3, don't do it yet. Remember a couple of things. 1, this is a team that you will stay with until at least December. Some classes like to end a game at semester, and they go by the points that they have accumulated, and then they switch over and either they change teams up. So whether you decide to do a semester game or a full year cumulative game, you're going to be in that group until Christmas or end of the year in May. So please make sure that the team that you choose is someone that you will get along with. So go ahead and turn and talk and tell the people about how long you will be in a team with your group. Go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you. All right, so you're in teams, and you're going to hear a word chunk in Spanish from me. Now, I'm going to use the same word example over and over again in this video. So the word that I'm going to use, the chunk I'm going to use as an example is una persona contenta. I'm going to give you a word chunk, and as a team, you must figure out what it means. Okay, you have to confer. Be the first team to, in unison, and this is key. I'm going to say the word in unison a lot. In unison, raise your hand, okay? And then in unison, do a team gesture. And just like your team name, and just like your teammates, your gesture is one that will stick with you until December or May. So make sure it's something that you want to do until the end of the year. It's something that you won't tire of, and it's something that everybody can do. Okay. And once you do all that, if you do everything, if you do this in unison, if you do your gesture, which I'm just going to do this for my gesture, if you do that all in unison, then you have a chance to answer the question, and that has to be in unison too. So if the question is una persona contenta, everyone in your team must at the same time say the answer. A lot of teams kind of do a little count off, 1, 2, 3. That's cool. So if the question was una persona contenta, which means a happy person, you would say in unison, a or one happy person. All right, now, again, unison is key. So turn and talk to someone and tell them what the key is to doing well in this game. What is it you have to do with your teammates to get points? The hint is in unison. Go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Very good. In unison. That is the key. Now, your job is to rack up points. So each time you answer a question correctly, you get a point. And your team, like a little tally sheet, I have a person who's going to do a tally sheet for me, and they are going to tally up how many when you get a point. So if you get a question right, you got your name, point. When you get 3 points, 1, 2, 3, you get a golden ticket. Not literally, but figuratively, you're awarded a golden ticket. And you get to go back to, and this is any point in the game. You don't have to answer 3 consecutively. At any point in the game that you rack up 3, you get the opportunity to go to, can you see that? My skee ball game. And there's going to be a person sitting at the skee ball game, and you will throw a trash get ball. You can see right there. There's my trash get ball. Hi, trash get ball. You will throw that trash get ball underhanded like a skee ball game. And I will have a person who is tallying up the scores. Again, this is like skee ball, like a Chuck E. Cheese or Dave and Buster's or whatever. And you will throw it underhanded, and my person at the skee ball rink will tally your score. And keep that up. And you have 60 seconds to do that. All right, so turn and talk again. I want you to tell people close to you how many points you have to get to the skee ball. And then how many seconds you have to rack up points. The most you can get, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each time you can get 4 points anyway. So, and then tell them if you're going to throw overhanded or underhanded. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, boom. Thank you. All right. So I've talked about how the game is played, or at least given you a run through. Now what I want to do is talk about my judges, because this game is really complex, and I can't do this game without my judges. My judges are people that I would either volunteer. I might just pull you aside and say, hey, I want you to be a judge, or I might ask for volunteers. If I don't ask you to be a judge and you're not volunteer, please don't get upset with me, because, you know, it happens. But there's going to be several judges, and a lot of people think that I don't want to be a judge because I want to rack up points at the skee ball game to win a grand prize at the end of the semester or the year. And that is just not true, because if I have a good judge, my game runs smoothly, more people can rack up points, and you will have some sort of a reward at the end. Maybe not similar or something similar to what the winning team gets. So something to keep in mind. And you got to do your job. You got to do your job well. Okay, got to do your job well. So let's look at those jobs, and we're going to look at them as they appear in the game, so it makes more sense. So I'll be pausing to kind of talk about these. Here we go. First one is the English judge. Now, when we start a new word chunk, I'm going to count down from 5 to 0. Big surprise. I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. My English judge is going to be looking and scanning the room, and he's going to, or she is going to be listening. And if any team is still talking after 0, whether it's English or Spanish or Klingon or whatever, they're disqualified. They cannot answer that question, that word chunk, for that little round, and just for that question. And so they'll just say, hey, you're disqualified. Don't argue with my judge, please, because, okay, it's them, okay? They decide. And after that, I'm going to say the word twice. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my example, una persona contenta. Una persona contenta. At that time, you and your teammates must huddle up, kind of like a football game, conferring. Raise your hand. Again, everyone has to raise their hand at the same time. My H&H judge, which is the person who'll be seeing if you got into your groups, and if you raise your hand all at the same time, will be looking around the classroom. I may have 2 people actually helping me, and you're going to have to be like right in the front of the classroom so you can see. It might actually be better if you're in the back to do that. So H&H judge, you'll be looking, and then you'll tell me, okay, they answered first, they answered second, etc. All right, so my H&H judge will decide who got into groups and raised their hand, all in unison. All right, so quickly turn and talk. Tell me turn and tell someone what the English judge does, and then what the H&H, what the head and hands judge does. Go. Great job. Thank you. All right, next one. Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, go. Next one is my gesture judge. Now, after you have raised your hand and my H&H judge has told me the order in which who raised their hand first, second, third, I will then go to a teammate and I'll say, okay, the flying flamingos, the 3 flamingos. The team must now do the gesture in unison. And remember, this is the gesture you decided, and you must do it in unison. So if the gesture is bump, 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 if you do it in unison, yay, then you get to finally answer the question in English. Again, the gesture judge is going to see if you are doing that. If the gesture judge says, I'm sorry, I'm moving on to the next team, and they get a chance to answer. Do not argue with my judge, please, 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 please. All right, once we get to the gesture judge, the unison judge will listen to see if you answer the question in English and in unison. So again, if the question is una persona contenta, you as a team must answer together, and a lot of teams kind of do a little count off, 1, 2, 3, which is cool. 1, 2, 3. One or a content person. If my unison judge is able to maybe catch, my unison judge says it's okay, you finally, after all that, after raising your hand in unison, after doing your gestures in unison and answering in English in unison, you finally, and it seems like a crazy process, but it really doesn't take very long to go through different word chunks. I have another judge, and that is my point judge. And my point judge will actually keep up my points. That's like my tally person. So point judge, you'll put their name. You will put tally. I would recommend literal tally marks. Once they get to 3, you will just say, hey, Profe, it's time for the 3 flamingos to go to the skee ball. And we'll say, yay, skee ball for the 3 flamingos. And the team will go. They'll walk to the back, whatever, and go to the skee ball game. At the skee ball game, they will meet the skee ball judge. Okay, skee ball judge. Skee ball judge is going to, again, put the person's name or the group's name. You can put the date if you want to, like the date, and then you'll do, I would recommend, again, tally marks for how many points they get, okay? And at 60 seconds, you say that's it. If the ball hits the target, after 60 seconds is called, it doesn't count. If they throw overhanded, not underhanded, you can decide whether that point is good or not. Do not argue with my judges. Okay, so at this time, what I want you to do is I'm going to take a little bit to see who might want to be a judge, and then also be thinking of who you want to be in your team, and think of a name, and think of a gesture, because as soon as we get that stuff done in about, 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to try to play the word chunk game. Thank you so much for paying attention to this instructional video, and I hope that you enjoy the word chunk game, and good luck to everybody, and I hope that you win fabulous prizes. Woo! Bye.